Hi there, I am Laura and this is Mosh Pit Banter. I'm here with the incredible Klaire from the Coathanger Solution.
Hi everybody, how are you? Thanks, Laura.
Not at all, delighted to have you here. Finally.
It's been a while. It's been a while in the way.
We've had a few attempts at this, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And then different life things kept getting in the way, but I am here now, delighted to be here. And yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Not at all, we're delighted to have you because you're just a very interesting person. So we were very, very happy to have you here. And as you can see, Kalango's not here. He is on the other side of the camera this time doing his other job. But let's just crack straight in because you guys have had pretty interesting kind of 12, 18 months, right? You released the Coathanger Solution album in 2024 obviously on digital and vinyl. And that's actually where I first met you, was at your launch party at Thomas' house.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I kind of accosted you in the stairway and we were like trying to have a conversation.
That's right. And then we were moved on, I think, away.
Like 4 times. They kept coming up.
Yeah.
They were like,
can you get away from that door?
It's a little bit, get out of the stairway.
Yeah.
But it was my first time actually seeing you guys because I'd known Justin from Kalango's banner, Katie and Shadows, but it was the first time I'd actually seen you. And it was such an incredible show. I was like, who is this person? I was like, this is just wild. And you were just going for it. So I really enjoyed the performance. So I was completely hooked from then. But the recording itself is kind of, it's very raw and organic, isn't it? It's kind of like, it brings forward that kind of classic feel. Is that kind of what you were going for, or is that just how it kind of turned out?
Well, I didn't know we were going for that. But we recorded in what was loosely called a studio. It was actually a garage, and there was no toilets. And John would not let me go to the toilet for the whole day until I got the lyrics right, until I got the sound right. So a lot of that urgency on the sound of that record is actually me needing to go for a piss. It was, believe me, it was actually raw. Like it was, we were kind of early spring. It was cold, damp. I needed to go to the toilet. It was not a pleasant experience. And I think we all hated each other after that day, or after that weekend, should I say. But yeah, he had it right. If you want to get urgent, if you want to get your singer to sound like in an urgent fashion, make sure there's no toilets.
Put a bit of pressure on her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally on the bladder.
You could definitely go in a whole different direction of like the reason why he wouldn't let you go to the bathroom, but that would maybe be for another one.
That might be a different.
We're only drinking coffee and cakes today, so that would be for
talk about that later with the whiskey. Yeah.
And who to produce this album?
Kieran O'Brien, who we. Kind of a close friend of the band, amazing musician, good friend of John's, and just a whiz on technology. He's going to produce our second one, which we're hoping to start recording in the next month or so. And he also stood in as bass player for Rob at Forest Fest because Rob was unfortunately away. So he is kind of I suppose you could call him the 6th member of the Coathanger Solution.
The honorary member of the Coathanger Solution. That's quite funny. I did actually watch that video at Forest Fest when he was playing, and it was just jarring for a second.
Quite a few people were like, "Oh, you've got a new bass player. Because also Rob is a really tall guy and Kieran's not a tall guy, so there was this kind of differentiation between the two looks. But he performed amazingly. Like he literally did one rehearsal with us, but obviously having produced the album, he probably knew the songs as well as we did. It was great.
It's great to have a backup, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yes.
And what is your kind of favorite song to sing on that album? Do you have one?
It depends. I love Except For You because I loved making that video. And we had so much fun on a Sunday morning making that video. So every time I sing it now, since we made the video, that kind of brings me back. So I would say Except For You, but again, it depends on my mood.
That's fair. It's quite funny actually for Except For You because every time I hear someone say, "Oh, look, it's all the same," all I hear is, "It's all the fucking same." Genuinely, it's true. But then I also hear Kalango at the back going, "Except For You," and he'll complete the sentence like that because I'll go,
I'm glad we're a meme now already.
Yes, I was in a meeting the other day and I was like, it's all the same and I was like, "It's all the fucking same." Keep my face.
Yeah, as long as you don't do it out loud in the work meetings, it's probably okay.
You know, I'm not very known for curtailing my mouth. So no, but
Me too.
This is my weekend.
Yes, indeed.
But genuinely, that song does make me laugh, and I do enjoy the video because and that part where you're doing the legs.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's a few coordination issues.
And that again was Jerry Doyle filmed that video for us, and we had done the walking down the street bit, and we had that all in our heads, but then we hadn't got anything else, and we were like, shit, like what else are we gonna do? And Jerry said, why don't you do something like the Monkees used to do? And we were like, oh, that'll be shit. And then we did it, and I think a lot of people have said that's kind of their favorite bit in the video, because the coordination is so horrendously bad.
I won't call out names. Watch it and you'll know who you are.
Rob.
I don't know if it's going on. But it was more that you were cracking up.
Yeah,
I think
we
that's
had so much fun. It was
when you're
Sunday morning. We had to do it like, no, I think it was 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning before that laneway to be, and yet still there was people coming out of the hostels and stuff, kind of just staring. And I was like, get these fuckers out of the way. And then we were like, no, actually, you know what? It actually looks a bit more authentic if they are in it. So that's why you've got a few people walking by with suitcases and stuff. But we were playing the song in order to video. We were playing the song on a speaker I have, which is absolutely, the volume on it is so loud. So people were looking out windows going, what's going on? And I'm walking down the street over and over again. And people actually thought it was a movie that we were creating.
I mean, you know.
It could be, Sam.
It could be.
Yeah.
And it makes the street more famous anyway.
Indeed.
You know, I walk down
exactly.
walking like you own the place, which is kind of the whole theme of the song.
Yeah. And getting to push the lads. That was so much fun.
The power walk. Like not an 8 a.m. Sunday morning walk of shame walk. This is a power walk.
Yeah. Come on, lads, let me push you into walls. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. But the one thing I wanted to ask you about, kind of, because I think with the coat hangers, like obviously you have such a particular look, you know, you have a look and feel, the album has a particular look and feel, but your videos also have a theme in the black and white.
Yeah, very much
Tell
so.
me a bit about that.
I had just come up with that concept of walking down the street, and again, it becoming the five of us, but that each person would be brought in at any given time. We always want to do in black and white because we just look better in black and white. Who doesn't? And then, once we did the first one, then the second one just kind of almost wrote itself, if you like. And what we kind of want, and there's only two, but we will be doing a third one, that we almost create this storyboard that, although the videos are individual, but that they are also, you know, kind of leading on one from the other, so that it is almost like a little movie. Do you know what I mean?
But it is, because like you say, because I think you recorded the second one for the Keep It In Your Pants video. There is a bit of a next where you're kind of coming out and you're all a bit hungover. Exactly.
Plus as well, the pushing, you know, at the start of Keep It In Your Pants, Rob actually pushes Ralph out the door, and that had obviously been in the previous video. So we want, if you make the connection, great. If you don't, again,
no, but now we know to watch it in an order. So,
you
know, and is that, you'll have to give us the order for that, actually. That could be very fun to watch the Easter eggs.
Absolutely, exactly,
you get it. Like, that's really cool. Because, I mean, as much as it's kind of playful and fun, your lyrics are also quite, you know, in your face. And I think that's deliberate. Like, I mean, so one of the things for me, I really like the lyrics in Kiss My Cunt. And I know that's not an invitation. Consent. But it's, and I'm going to read out some of the lyrics. For me, what I like about this song in particular is you're making such a statement. And the opening part where it's like, and when he started to preach, it was well written and about the way he thought the world should be. And I know that's a big theme around, you know, you guys are talking about people stepping on you and kind of control you and trying to rule you. And then at the end, it's like, so I turned off the screen and do you know what I seen? It was a whole lot of people like me who value common sense, having fun with friends and taking care of their family. And I just thought that was a beautiful example of what you're trying to say. It's like, the whole political universe kind of instill, their kind of way on us, when actually it's just us trying to kind of exist and look after each other. And what is happening? Why is it, why are we feeling that it's, why are they trying to be that way with us? And I feel like that was such a strong statement that you guys are trying to make. And then you have the other playful ones, like Except For You, like we talked about, where, it's becoming for us in our universe, in our daily conversation. And that's not a joke. That is actually really true. Is that very deliberate for you guys to make these statements? Yeah,
very much so. Just going back to Kiss My Cunt, it's obviously a very, I suppose, political song. And I make it political because in the break, I do call out a lot of politicians. But at the same time, if you do turn off the constant 24-hour news cycle, if you don't go on Twitter or, whatever, your day-to-day life, it is just by going to work and, making money and maybe seeing your friends on a Friday or looking after your kids, or how much does childcare cost? And I think it is really important for people to have control of their own lives and of course be aware of what's going on in the world, but don't let it rule you. And obviously that is very hard hitting, which is why we kind of also want the videos to be quite tongue in cheek, because it can be exhausting to be constantly listening to those kind of political songs. So sometimes then it can be just something about something really silly, and I think we all feel it's really important to contrast those two, to be a really hard hitting punk band, but also the whole thing is ridiculous as well. Like
you want to have a bit of fun,
nobody's 21 in the band. I know, shock horror, guys. It would be completely ridiculous for us to take ourselves too seriously as well, know?
But I think it's an important thing. I mean, obviously in the punk kind of space, you kind of have either that we're just going to live in our own universe and it's all about the music, or for you guys, I feel like it's a strong statement of art, but you're also trying to make, points that are important to you guys, and that one feels like a strong one, because it comes up, and even when I've seen you do this song, and when I've seen you, and I mean, you got the whole crowd with you, like the crowd's like, and you're calling out people, and people are finding it really, really fun, I think. But also, I think it's a nice bit of a like, hang on, this isn't okay. There's like, I'm not okay with a few bunch of things. But I can also compartmentalize it and, like you say, not take it too seriously, because the rapper is quite, collegiate, and it's quite like community building.
And like, I mean, all those people who come to our gigs, they are also the same. Like, they're also just ordinary people. I think we're very much as well, like, anybody can do this. If you've got an idea, you do this. Like, we're not superstars or whatever. I have to say our fans are very loyal.
And that was one thing I want to talk to you about, because I mean, I was joking to you about if anyone ever needs to, make more tickets, book the Coathanger Solution, because you have a diehard following.
We do.
Every time I go to your gigs, there's like 15, 20 people that I see that are the same people, which is brilliant. And I'm like, they're so committed to the band.
They really are.
They follow you and they support you and they love your music. And I mean, you played a gig a couple of weeks ago at the Arcadian Nights Festival, which was a fantastic night. But the crowd were going wild, and the like dancing and hopping together. And I think that's getting stronger. I don't know. I mean, obviously you can see it from the stage. I'm seeing it from behind, and I love looking at this. I love watching the crowd responding to a piece of music. But I mean, Coathanger Solution fans are committed and dedicated. The t-shirts, the merch, like, they're repping all the time. And
I have to say, it's quite incredible when you see the same faces over and over again, and you're kind of thinking, wow, are they not sick of us yet? Also seeing more and more people in the crowd wearing our t-shirts, which is, again, is great. But it's very much, if those people are enjoying it, it feeds back to us. So we're going to give a better performance, of course. But I have to say, thank you to all our fans, because they are, as you say, they're very loyal, and we really appreciate it. It's amazing to play the likes of Cork or, Belfast or whatever, and like people have travelled. Like, there was like two of our fans had come to see us at Arcadian, and they'd come up from Cork on the bus, and they were actually going to see another gig, but had made the point to come and see the Coathangers first. So we're very, very appreciative of it.
And the one thing I suppose I'm noticing, and you mentioned that the band are not all 21.
No,
I mean, they're not 19.
No,
but the audience is getting younger.
I have to say that is definitely as a result of playing the likes of Arcadian Nights and Bose. Playing Bose was a game changer for us, because most people that go to those gigs are, definitely they're late teens, early 20s, and that seems kind of strange to me that these youngsters would be looking up to the likes of us, but they genuinely do. Like, they're really hardcore crazy about us, and I love being able to appeal to that different demographic because, as I say, we're not 21. A lot of our audience when we started certainly weren't, and yet this new young contingent has really started to start coming to the gigs, and so many of those youngsters have kind of said to me, I wasn't even really aware of punk that much until I saw you guys, and now I'm listening to X, Y, and Z or whatever. So yeah, it's great if we can be a gateway drug into the punk scene for somebody who wouldn't have been exposed to it. It's great.
Yeah, which is really interesting because, I mean, the thing I think what resonates, I think, with so many people is you're not 21.
Yeah. And very obviously so.
And that's an important fact because it's not I want to be cool and I want to be a rock star in a band.
Yeah.
Like, I think the authenticity comes out. And like you say, when you're buzzing off the people in the room, you're buzzing off the band. You're playing your music and your whole persona on stage, like you are you all the time.
Yeah,
like I'm just talking to the same Klaire over there.
It's just maybe a more exaggerated version of me, but it is still me, of course. Yeah,
and I think that authenticity really comes through. And I think like that's for me, and this is very much an opinion. You can all tell me whether you think I'm right or wrong. But the point being is, I think that's what people resonate with so much. Like regardless of your age, like a slightly older group might be like, brilliant, I can identify with them because they're not all 25.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the message is the core, and this is what I'm laughing about. In laughing about is the wrong word, but particularly in Kiss Your Cunt, that's why I like it, because it's such a we're all one together message, and for me that embodies so much of what I think.
Yeah,
the Coathanger Solution is.
Yeah.
Well,
good. I'm delighted because we've achieved our aim. Then, yes, yeah,
which is brilliant. And I think that, there's one other when you're talking about like you being on the stage, and that was one of my questions for you around like where does life and art kind of come together? Because the Klaire on stage, I'm laughing going wait because you are you. Like I've spent so many times like having like so many chats with you like off stage or behind or wherever we are, and when you're on stage and you're embodying that version of Klaire, where does like the balance of like I'm performing as part of the show versus like I'm just in the moment and going doing whatever the fuck I like doing, and how do you find the balance between those two versions?
It just kind of happens as soon as I get on stage. I don't really think about it beforehand. I don't think, what dance am I going to do for this song or whatever.
Yeah.
I get quite nervous before I go on stage. I always take kind of like 5 minutes on my own before I go on stage. I think it's really important to still be nervous because if you're not nervous, then you probably don't give a shit. But yeah, it just happens. I mean, I don't think anybody could ever accuse me of being a shrinking violet in my life in any form. But I'm not obviously going up to people in the street to scream and kiss my cunt in their face when I'm being my regular self. But yeah, it just clicks as soon as I get on stage. As I say, become a more exaggerated version of myself. I really believe in those songs. So John would predominantly write most of the songs, but when I'm singing them, they're my songs.
Yeah.
Like I believe every single word, like as if I'm an actor. If you take on a role, then you better make sure that you believe those words so that other people believe them. And I appreciate what you were saying about the authenticity, because that would be the worst thing for me, would be to be on stage and faking something, and I never ever want that. And I think, again, if that happens, then it's time for it to be over.
Yeah.
If I cannot create an authentic version of myself on stage, then it'll be time for me to walk away.
Yeah. And I think again, that's the compelling part of what the Coathanger Solution do, because like when I see all of you on the stage, you buzz off each other.
Yeah, very much so. We really do. Yeah.
And a lot of you should like, you probably have watched yourself and seen photographs, but you're all actually smiling on the stage.
Yeah.
Except for Justin, because like he's hardworking. Sorry, Justin, but I do look at you. I know you're in the back. The truth don't always get to your face.
Yes.
I do try. I have photographs.
For every 50 photos of everybody in the Coathanger Solution, there's maybe a half one of Justin. Yeah,
I do try. I've tried. But it's more a point that like the pictures, you're all smiling.
Yeah.
And which is quite funny. You know what I mean? Like, it's having a good time.
It's funny, actually. I was looking at a video of us playing Dundalk last week, and myself and Rob are just smirking throughout the whole thing. And I said to Rob, do you remember what did we find so amusing? And he goes, who knows, any number of things, you know. I think that's another factor about being older in the band, that we all love it. Nobody's trying to get famous. Nobody's trying to, you know, play. I always use this reference, Madison Square Gardens. And I think because of that, we can enjoy it. And actually just the sideline of that is, because we're enjoying it and because we're connecting with the audience, we have become a lot bigger than I ever would have envisaged. Like that wasn't the goal when we started this, you know. But yeah, if you're not enjoying it, walk away. Yeah.
And I think that's what's interesting for me, is like how the band got together as well, because say the original mix and then the current lineup that you have now is so gelled.
We're all pretty close.
But you didn't all know each other in the beginning.
No, right? God, no, not at all. So there was a different singer called Chris and a different drummer called Tom. John and Rob had and Ralph, they had all played together for quite a number of years. And then Chris decided to leave the band, and Chris actually worked for me as a tour guide. And he kind of recommended me to the Coathangers. Now, I knew Ralph a little bit from going to different punk gigs. But yeah, I was pretty pissed one night, and I just kind of demanded that they take me on as a singer. I think they were all terrified. And then I went for the audition, and they made me wait for an hour after the audition to let me know, and then they told me I was in. Lads, come on. And yeah, it was not plain sailing at the beginning, because, you know, there was five personalities. I can be quite intimidating. Imagine.
Opinionated.
I think, and also it was like a female coming into a very male dynamic, and they had all been very used to playing with each other. There were things I wasn't happy about, and I said I wasn't happy about it. And and then maybe about a year and a half into my being in the band, maybe 2 years, Tom left and Justin came in. So again, though, then that you're bringing in another personality. And getting 5 people to work together, as anybody in any band will tell you, it's like being in a family. You know,
and 5 older people as well. Like
exactly,
not 19, 20,
who all have families and responsibilities and jobs, and you know, we're not going to drink cans in the studio. Like, you go into the studio, you're going to rehearse. But yeah, it's a great lineup now, and we're all pretty close with each other, and try and be there for each other on a personal level as well as in just in the band. We don't live in each other's pockets either, which I also think is really important. I think when you're playing together, hanging out together constantly, you know, that can cause more problems.
There's enough time.
Exactly. Like when we play gigs, we're very much together, but you know, we don't hang out too much outside of those. We all have our own friends, etc. But we get on great, and it's a really strong lineup, I think, as is now.
Yeah. And I think again that connection has probably gotten you some of the bigger gigs, because like again, the last 18 months you were at Rebellion Festival last year, you're at Forest Fest this year, you've been gigging all over Dublin, like you say, you're in Tolls, you're in Cork, you've been in Belfast and Voodoo. What do you think is like what was that big experiences that you've had on stage? Like, which one do you have a particular, that was my favorite, or you know, that did not work out so well? Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I have to say we've been pretty lucky. We haven't really had any really bad gigs. Forest Fest was just brilliant crack. I don't think now, unfortunately, Rob was away, so he couldn't play. So we had Kieran O'Brien, who produced our album. He stepped in on the bass. I think we were quite giddy because we were being brought around in all these like golf cart buggies, and to, I'm sure, other bands that is nothing, but we enjoyed every bit of that, kind of being treated like stars.
Am I a rock star? When did I become a rock star? Am I a rock star?
Yeah, free.
Maybe you are a rock star.
Buggies driving us around in the band tent, and you know, and actually, I liked that innocence that we still had, that we were excited about being brought around in a buggy. wearing artist wristbands, all that kind of thing. It's nice that we're still excited by that.
Yeah.
We love going to other places, and we're going to try and do a lot more of that in 2026. Definitely going to head back up to Belfast. We'll be in Cork in February. Few UK things on the horizon as well. Because, as I said, just going back to the same thing as nobody is really young. I don't know how long the Coathanger Solution will go on for. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a year, maybe it'll be 10. But, it won't be 25 years, I wouldn't think, unless we're coming up on stage in Zimmer frames. But actually, that could work as well. So we just want to experience as much as we can in as many different places as we can. And, we've been really, really lucky that we've been contacted by from promoters and other venues all over the country and in the UK who want us to come and play. So, it's
there's something there.
We better take advantage of it before before it wears off, before we're found out.
No, but there's one thing that I find just incredible about you, which is your voice. And just as you were talking about being in lots of different places, like, traveling and you have your normal life that you're still trying to live at the same time. How do you manage your voice? Like, do you actually have particular regimens that you follow? Do you do vocal warm-ups? Because you have such a powerful voice. I love listening to it because it's got so much character. You can hear so many different, Brody Dale, you've got like so many that growly, like I absolutely love the I don't know how to describe the tone because I'm not a musician, but it's just awesome. I really, really like it. But do you have to do anything to kind of maintain it?
Well, I'm a tour guide, so I use my voice every day. My voice is my life. So I actually think because of that, I kind of, I don't really have that many problems. You hear of people getting polyps and stuff like that. I did have a voice issue about 22 years ago where a lining had grown on my vocal cords, and the only way of getting rid of that was to go to voice therapy 4 times a week. And I was taught how to breathe properly then. And actually the lining had grown on my vocal cords because of being misused. Wow. So I was, again, quite lucky that in my kind of mid-20s that happened, and I am very aware of how to breathe. So like, got a lot of tour guides in my game saying, I can't, my throat's sore and all that kind of stuff. If you're breathing correctly and it just becomes an innate part of you, then a lot of the time you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I use it every day as a tour guide. And I do those vocal exercises very regularly. Yeah. Now I also smoke a lot, which has probably contributed to the huskiness for sure. The octave level has definitely reduced in the last few years, but it is still really strong. Yeah. It's still really strong. And any time I feel any kind of like a cold coming on, I'm a really big believer in honey and hot salted water.
Hot salted water.
Yeah. It's really kind of soothing on the vocal cords. Wow. But I do think the breathing from your diaphragm, that is a huge amount of people's, and particularly because I scream quite a bit on stage as well. And people have said to me, oh my God, does that not kill your voice? But again, if you're doing it from the diaphragm, you shouldn't really have any problems. It's like I suppose any muscle, if you're a runner, you know how to run, and it's exactly the same as your voice.
But it's a craft. You know what I mean? Like, you can, a lot of people can sing, not me, a lot of people can sing, and it's a tool to be able to maintain it, to do what you do. Because when you're, because I know it's hot, it's cold, and there's a band, Klaire and I worked with, where the female singer, she was it's very much in the screaming category of metal, and she had an oxygen thing. So it was almost like an inhaler, but it was actually giving her more oxygen basically to prep her voice, because they were on tour and they were moving around. So for me, I'm kind of quite conscientious, especially with you guys doing so much traveling, and here the weather and hot, cold, sweaty environment, humid, it's it's not very great for a voice, I'm sure, in terms of preserving it. So maintaining such a strong voice like yours.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I've been a tour guide for a long time. I never shut up talking anyway in my ordinary life. So it kind of, and then obviously the singing, but it's at the same time though, it's not as if we're maybe I would find it differently if we were actually on tour and singing every night. I might do, I don't know. But again, for me, it's The breathing is the big thing. Being able to breathe.
The baseline is there, as in like the baseline of how you maintain your vocal health.
Yeah.
Because it is, I can imagine it's difficult because you do, like you say, you do scream in there as well. And I love it because I'm like, yes, like, and she's like, oh, cool. Like I really, really enjoy listening to you. And that's the thing, I suppose, it's another kind of component of being, I know we're in Ireland and it's a slightly different scene, but you are the lead singer of the Coathanger Solution, and there's all just a bunch of guys behind you that are but listening to you and to the band, I know you're all one together. You're here talking to me and we're connecting in this way. But I know the band is there. But in your opinion, is the fact that you're a female-fronted punk band, is something that you want to kind of promote and talk about, or you're like, no, we just sing and we perform really well together? Because it's interesting to watch how other people kind of see that, and for some people it's really important to have that kind of female-led, and for other people they don't see it as important. It's like, how do you find that?
I think it is important to a certain extent, because I always I'm personally always interested in like a band that might have a female front person. Again, even though it is obviously far more common, there's still, I would imagine the male fronted bands are 2-1 on the female. So
we don't call them a male fronted band. That's kind of my
exactly,
point. We don't
just the band,
them
just
that.
the band.
It's
exactly.
Just the band.
You're just the band. You're so right there.
Yeah.
So if me being at the front of the Coathangers can encourage young women in any way, or old women for that matter, great. But at the same time, then if you just like the sound of the band because you like the sound of the band, it doesn't have to be an issue. Yeah. I mean, I'm very comfortable with who I am. So, if I'm not out there preaching feminism, but at the same time, I am still very aware that for younger women in particular, they might find it a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and again, from being in the audience, I can start, for me, even in the last 2 years, I think that has changed a bit in the Irish scene. I think there's definitely more women in the audience now. And to the point I'm like, oh my God, it takes me a second to notice all the long hair. And then I'm like, wait, they're not all like what I was expecting.
Absolutely. I've really have seen that in the last 2 years. There's been a real kind of surge of young women bands and mixed bands, a guy on the drums, girl at the front, whatever. Great. Yeah. Brilliant. I don't know why that is. It could be just a moment in time, but yeah, brilliant.
Well, hopefully we're all supporting you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That was going to be my question about how you see the kind of Irish underground scene, because for me,
really
I'm like, oh, why is it underground? Like it infuriates me that we even have this whole, it's all under here. It's underground. I'm like, they're all just brilliant. And we're being like super entertained and are so lucky and privileged to have this amount of talent available to us.
Very much so, yeah.
That's how I see it, certainly. But, but at the same time, it is small, it is local, and it's difficult because, I mean, even we were in Galway recently we went to Galway the day before we went to Siege of Limerick. And we happened to just be staying near the Oi-Fi-5 band bar. Like, I was like, wait a minute, we knew someone was playing here in a week. And then we saw there was a metal band in there, and we're like, I don't think if I'd come here the last time I came to Galway,
they would have been happening.
There,
yeah.
What I mean?
Very much so. I think a really strong part of that is, unfortunately, so many venues have closed down now. So many pubs, and that's awful. And, there needs to be more music venues. But a lot of those venues are really struggling, and where they may not have taken what we call punk or underground or whatever you want, they wouldn't have taken those on to play.
Yeah.
Now they're far more open to whatever is going to bring people in the door.
Yeah.
So if there's going to be a metal band that's going to bring 10 of their friends, 15 of their friends, or a punk band who would never have crossed the threshold before, I think people are far more open to having different types of entertainment if it means bringing punches in the door.
Yeah.
So if there's any kind of, I suppose, good thing about venues and pubs closing down, that might be
it's opened up another avenue for this kind of genre. Because, like, I mean, I've been a lifelong fan of punk, metal, and rock. So for me, you had your places that you go.
Very much so, yeah.
And that was just how it was. And now I have my choice. Obviously, I live in Dublin, so I have a lot more choice because I'm in Dublin. I know, this is the kind of psychotic ice cream man. I
thought we'd moved into the film of It. That's kind of what it sounds like.
It's super freaky. Like, so for anyone watching this who does not know, in Ireland, a man in a van drives around the local housing estate calling children with the childhood music and then sells them sweets. And now there could be a woman in there, but it's typically a bunch of dudes riding an ice cream truck. And
it's a questionable practice that I haven't really considered before until you actually put it like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, now that you say that, it is very creepy.
It is. It's more I have to explain it to people when you hear it on the back of a thing, and they're like, what? Is it called? Who is it?
Luring kids into a van for sweets.
Yeah. And in my house, if you heard that tune,
you were out the door.
Pegged it home. Being like, Mom, I need a pound for an ice cream. Do you know what I mean? And then of course they'd be no. And I lived at the bottom of the street, so I'd be going as fast as I can to get the pound and running
pushing
back
people
up.
out of the way to go get the ice cream.
Because once they're gone, they're gone.
They're gone.
You don't know what they took, and you don't know what they left behind,
or when they're going to come back.
Exactly. So it may come up in the background again. It's totally not creepy. And especially where we live, because it's not that many kids here, so I'm not sure why he keeps coming.
He knows I'm being interviewed. That's what it is.
Her fan.
Yeah.
He's one of your fans.
That's why. It could be.
He knew you were here. Total segue now. Completely lost where I was talking about. But on the whole Irish underground metal scene, that's where I was going with this. I had a point to make.
You would go to specific venues or pubs?
Yeah. Whereas now it's an abundance of choice.
Yeah. And like, you know, kind of some kind of maybe punk or alternative gigs being on a Sunday afternoon in a venue in Temple Bar that you would never have even. And that is good because, like, for instance, when we played Support to Bad Manners in Limerick, and obviously, you know, it was mostly kind of older ska fans, and the response did not seem great.
Wow.
But then afterwards, like, all these people just kept coming up and just telling us how much they loved it and they'd never seen anything like this. It was in some kind of like convention center. It was, you know, something like that where the Coathanger Solution would not normally be played. But again, that opens us up to a new audience, and we can see by the followers on the socials, like, how many additional followers we get after each gig, and it's really ramping up, and we got a lot of people even just contacting us, you know, where can I buy a t-shirt, where can I buy the album? So I mean, it is great to be out in venues that we would normally never be seen or heard. However, there is a need for far more venues, I think. But
well, that was even the thing, because when we were at Siege of Limerick, it's three. Sorry to keep talking about Siege, because I think you guys were awesome, but it's in Dolan's in Limerick, and it was 3 venues. You know, let's say small, medium, and a larger stage. And I was thinking, like, in Dublin, what venue has 3 stages that can be run simultaneously?
Grand Social's really is.
It's got 2.
Yeah, it's got 2. Yeah,
and it wouldn't have had the volume.
Sure.
And I was like, but I live in Dublin.
I know it's
and I think even, you know, trying to get that, obviously we're talking about, you know, we're talking about the underground scene, but this is why I don't believe they're underground.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Completely.
I believe they can fill in bigger venues. We just don't have them necessarily.
We just don't have them
to go to in those intermediate venues. Because I saw Trivium a couple of years ago in the Helix.
Oh wow!
And I was like, the Helix.
Yeah, the Helix.
Right?
Yeah.
Last time I was there, I saw the ballet.
I was just going to say ballet or pantomime is usually what I associate the Helix with.
Exactly. So I was like, well, and I actually went on my own because no one wanted to go with me, and I wanted to see this band since, like, I was like, I've been a diehard Trivium fan. So if you hear me, I was a diehard Trivium fan. And I was like, oh, this is like going to be so weird. So there's a bunch of metalheads standing there, all dressed in black or whatever, in that foyer. Right? And it's all very nice and it's very well. Don't get me wrong, perfectly for its location, but it was just so bright.
Yeah.
There's the bright house lights on outside of the bar, and it was so weird. Went in and it looked like a basketball arena because they pulled back all the seats, and I was like, this is going to be like, what the fuck? Like, this is going to be so fucking weird. And it was the best gig.
I was going to say, but the sound was brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was incredible. And I've been noticing that, like, you know, obviously for a band of Trivium size, there was a reason why they went there, and it was brilliant. Malevolence supported them. It was absolutely awesome. But I've noticed the venues are starting to, like, invest heavier in their back line.
Yeah.
The quality of music's coming up. And
I think a lot of, like, even pubs are now, you know, investing in back lines.
They're understanding it now. We want to be entertained.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is it. If you go to a gig, you want to be able to hear it. So,
and it's a big change.
Or this, you know, what used to be far more common was being asked to bring a backline, you know, the band being asked to bring a backline, which is a no-no for the Coathangers. We just don't do that.
But in general, who's got the vehicle?
Exactly, yeah.
Who's got all the gear?
Exactly.
Like, it's a very normal, practical conversation to say, if you need me to come, at least you have the gear to let me in, right? So, you know, in my mind, that seems like thing, but it's almost like the professionalization of the underground is the wrong answer to it. It's just like, actually, the standard of us being able to deliver a deadly gig, decent PA,
Exactly.
decent backline. Let me go and sing. Everyone have a good time. Don't have a hole in the roof, ideally, so I don't get either electrocuted or wet. That would be nice.
Yeah.
The basics. I feel like that's a bare minimum. But in your opinion, then, would you have any advice for kind of bands that are coming up now that because you were in a blues band beforehand, right? Like this is
20 years beforehand. Yeah.
Sorry, I've got two questions then. So you being in a different genre, but it has a different way of singing.
Right? Very completely.
It's probably a bit more nuanced, maybe more delicate in terms of like you're meeting that. Whereas here in the Coathanger Solution, it's like it's raw, it's big, it's a big sound, like it's like full of energy. How did you kind of think about that? What was that transition like to you? Did you have to learn how to sing differently? Or were you like, I've been singing like this since day one. It's more just, give me a mic and I'll sing into it.
There was a gap of 20 years as well in between the two bands, which is quite unusual. I don't think I would have been able to do what I do now in the Coathangers. I wouldn't have been able to do that back then. One, I wouldn't have had the confidence. Two, my voice, although I was a blues singer, it wouldn't have been as deep as it is now because I was a young woman. So I definitely couldn't do what I do now. That's taken me being very comfortable in myself now, feeling completely within my rights to get up there and call everybody a cunt. I don't think I would have been able to do that maybe 20, 25 years ago. So.
Imagine that in Dublin 20 years ago.
The reaction might have been completely different. In terms of any bands coming up, like play as much as you can, play in as many places as you can. I'd say, live experience is so much more important than, what recording an album. Okay, obviously we did record our first album, but the live experience, what you are like as a live band is what will retain your fans. People want to, and I think particularly kind of post-COVID, people, as much as they can afford to, want to be still out, want that live experience, And
things have changed now, right? Like I think people definitely appreciate that more. People aren't drinking as much as they were before, even me. And like, what do I do with my time?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? What do you talk to your friends about for 17 hours in the pub? You're like, Jesus, we talk some shite over the years.
Whereas you can do that at the gig and then ignore them whilst watching the band.
Exactly, ignore the friends while watching the band. And so what kind of bands are you supporting in Ireland at the moment? Like who are your kind of rising stars or your favourites in Ireland at the moment?
Well, they're certainly not rising stars. They've been going a long time, but the GAC would be consistently one of my favourite bands. We played with them last Sunday. We're kind of partners in crime with them. We play a lot of gigs with them. And they're just brilliant every single time. The new album's fantastic as well. And it just always kind of makes me laugh because I will be using every single inch of the stage, up and down the stage, in people's face. And Bertie, lead singer of the GAC, he does not move one single morsel. He stands completely dead center. And yet I think he's every bit as passionate as I am, despite him not moving, which I find incredible that you can be that intense and not move a muscle in your body. So GAC, as I say, consistently good. ADH, A Dead Human, 3 young lads, like really, really impressed with what they're doing, and they seem to be just getting stronger every live performance. Motion Sickness to be another one. I think they're great. They also have a female-fronted lead singer, and her voice is just unbelievable. And then up, kind of go outside the Republic, like if we want to look up north. Scundered, kind of more oi punk than what we're doing, but again, really raw and really intense. If a band is intense, I kind of think that goes back to what you were talking about, being authentic. For me, it doesn't really matter what genre. If I can feel passion coming from the band, then I'm hooked.
That's the magnetism, right? Like, and I suppose that is the difference in terms of you being able to just do your art versus communicate your art, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If you believe what you're doing, it's much easier to make other people believe.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense to me. So what's next for the Coathangers?
We've quite a lot. We've quite a lot. So the next, we've 2 more gigs this year, both at the end of this month. doing the final, what may be the final punk gig in Bose before they tear it all down.
That's a big gig.
Yeah, and then 2 nights later, we're supporting Bad Manners again in Dublin, in the Opium Rooms. And then we're going to try and get into start recording the second album, as we have everything ready to go. Don't want to hang around too much longer, you know. As I always say on stage, can't be relying on that first album all the time. We have to make sure that everybody knows it wasn't a one hit album. And then next year, we already are up to about April in terms of gigs booked. Cork, Belfast, UK. So yeah, we're going to be busy. We're going to be busy, but it's going to be a lot of fun as well, I think. Yeah.
Sounds like an amazing roller coaster ahead.
Yeah, it is.
But it's only going in one direction.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Up, you know?
Fingers crossed. Madison Square Gardens.
Madison Square Gardens. That's what she's going to be doing next year. So where can people find out more about the Coathanger Solution today?
We're on all the socials. So Facebook, Instagram. You can download our album on Bandcamp. You can buy it on vinyl from Punk in Ireland.
Yes.
So yeah, check out one of those platforms, and as I say, but the live gig is probably where to get to know us best. So come and see us at one of our gigs in the not too distant future.
Amazing. Klaire, this has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Really
Laura. Lovely, really lovely to be here. Thank you.
Amazing.
Cheers.
We'll see you soon, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.